In the small, rugged town of Bowraville, shadows of a tragic past lingered long after the last whispers of the Bowraville murders faded into the distant memory. Set against the backdrop of the early 1900s, the town's dusty streets and weathered buildings bore silent witness to a series of chilling events that left the community paralysed with fear. The murders involved three young children, Jimmy, Evelyn and Clinton, whose disappearances between 1910 and 1911 shook the very foundation of Bowraville. Local law suggested that the crimes were the work of an unknown perpetrator, stirring rumours and suspicion among the townspeople. Amidst the tense atmosphere, the town's police constable James McGregor, a stern yet fair man, took it upon himself to unravel the dark mystery. Constable McGregor, a veteran of the force, was well respected for his unwavering dedication and keen eye for detail, qualities that made him a formidable investigator. He meticulously examined every lead, questioning neighbours and peering into the lives of the victims' families with a careful, compassionate approach. The community was deeply distressed, with women clutching their children tightly and men exchanging anxious glances in the local pub. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the towering eucalyptus trees, McGregor received a tip about a suspicious figure seen lurking near the riverbank where Evelyn was last seen. He remembered the local knowledge that the river was a place where secrets often surfaced. Carried by the current of history itself, the constable and his team organised an extensive search along the river, combing through the thick underbrush and muddy banks. Days went by without concrete evidence, but rumours persisted about a solitary man known as Old Tom, a reclusive figure hated by many for his strange habits. Old Tom was said to have an unsettling fascination with children, and his odd behaviour had often placed him under scrutiny. Despite the suspicions, the evidence to arrest him was scarce, and the community was torn between fear and hope for justice. Throughout the investigation, McGregor delved into the town's history, uncovering old newspaper clippings that hinted at a pattern of unexplained disappearances. These early reports painted a picture of a town under siege from an invisible menace, linked perhaps to darker, forgotten secrets. As he examined the vintage pages, McGregor's imagination conjured the faces of the children, images that haunted his nights and fueled his resolve. He learned that during those years Bowraville was rapidly growing, with new settlers bringing tales of ghosts and strange noises in the night. The townspeople often recounted stories of eerie sounds near the old sawmill and unexplained lights flickering across the valley. A local historian, Mrs. MacDonald, shared her extensive knowledge of the town's lore, describing how the murders fractured the community's sense of innocence. She told McGregor about the town's origins, its struggles, and the dark corners where secrets seemed to breathe beneath the surface. One chilling account spoke of a night when a supernatural fog rolled in, enveloping Bowraville in an unnatural gloom, as if warning of something sinister. McGregor listened carefully, realising that understanding the town's history could be key to unravelling the present enigma. He studied old maps and photographs, noticing peculiar landmarks and the way the landscape seemed to hold stories in its very soil. The investigation shifted as McGregor focused on the psychological profiles of suspects, blending their history with modern understanding. He suspected that the killer might have been someone driven by darkness rooted deep within the town's fabric, possibly even a familiar face. The murder of Clinton, the last known victim, marked a tragic turning point, leaving the townspeople haunted by loss and unanswered questions. As decades passed, the case went cold, but whispers of the Bowraville murders persisted, growing into legend and local myth. The community held annual memorials, lighting candles in hopes of bringing peace to the restless spirits of the children. Historically, Bowraville had flourished with logging, agriculture, and a sense of frontier resilience. Yet beneath its rugged exterior lurked secrets yet uncovered. Over time, stories of the murders intertwined with tales of pioneers, outlaws, and ghostly apparitions that added layers to the legend. The exact identity of the murderer remained elusive, with some believing the figure had vanished like a spectre into the mist. In recent years, efforts to re-examine old evidence and interview surviving witnesses brought renewed interest to the case. Forensic technology, advanced beyond the capabilities of the early 20th century, offered hope that truth might finally emerge from the past. Yet, the story of Bowraville's darkest days remained a stark reminder of how history's shadows continue to haunt communities long after the final chapter closes. And so, the legend of the Bowraville murders endured, etched into the town's identity, a chilling testament to its haunted past.